All right, but apart from the sanitation, the medicine, education, wine, public order, irrigation, roads, a fresh water system and public health, what have the Romans ever done for us?
Welcome to Friday Fallacy. This week we're looking at the overwhelming exception fallacy. The overwhelming exception fallacy is when a generalisation is made true only by a large number of exemptions. That is, rather than accurately portraying the limitations of the claim, it is strongly made, but with plenty of qualifications. This is not a sound way of arguing, as the inaccurate portrayal of the claim implies it is stronger than it actually is. That everybody commits crimes sounds impressive, until it's admitted that it's only true if you omit the 90% of the population that don't. Some examples of the overwhelming exception fallacy. Christians are never violent. The Crusades, Inquisition and African militias don't count. We're almost become a third world country, apart from our quality of life and highly developed economy. I will never, ever leave you, unless you cheat on me or something like that. Gamergate really is about ethics in video game journalism. Just ignore all the misogynistic trolls. Reputable scholars agree that Jesus rose from the dead. At least, the Christian ones do. Not all qualifications on statements are the overwhelming exception fallacy. When discussing things in the real world, generalisations are rarely correct of every single example, and exceptions need to be made in order to be precise. So, while it's true that all humans have two legs is not strictly true, clarifying that you mean all humans who aren't amputees or who were born with birth defects have two legs leaves the generalisation mostly intact because the groups you are excluding are relatively small. The essence of the overwhelming exception fallacy is having to exclude a significant number of examples in order for the generalisation to be true. Of course, what counts as significant depends on context. Unlike most other fallacies, an argument that invokes the overwhelming exception fallacy can still be valid and sound. For example, suppose I claim that except for those who are discontent, everyone in my company is happy to work there. This claim may well be true, making my argument sound, but it obscures precisely how many are actually unhappy. If the majority of employees are actively looking for other work, my claim that everyone is happy, while technically true, is misleading. It invites the listener to infer that many or most of the employees are happy when they aren't. That is, the overwhelming exception fallacy is a way of arguing that is sound but encourages misunderstanding in the listener. The overwhelming exception fallacy is closely related to the no true Scotsman fallacy. The no true Scotsman fallacy is making a generalisation true by redefining the group to be only those it is true of, usually in a question-begging manner. The overwhelming exception fallacy admits that the generalisation isn't true for every single member of the group, but implies it is true of almost all or most of the members. For example, an apologist may commit the no true Scotsman fallacy by claiming that Islam is a religion of peace because anyone who is violent isn't a true Muslim. On the other hand, an apologist would commit the overwhelming exception fallacy by admitting that, yes, some Muslims endorse death for apostasy, but that many others do not. This falsely suggests that the Muslims who endorse violence are in a small minority, when they aren't. The overwhelming exception fallacy can also occur in the context of moving the goalposts. If someone makes a strong generalisation, and this is rebutted with counterexamples, then this can lead to them ending up making a much weaker claim that is hedged with many qualifications. To not acknowledge that these exclusions effectively disprove the original generalisation is to commit the overwhelming exception fallacy. For example, if I claim that Christians believe that non-believers are going to hell, you may respond by pointing out that many denominations of Christianity believe in universal salvation. I might then respond that mainline Protestant Christians in the US believe that non-believers are going to hell. If I treat this as if it validates my original claim that all Christians believe this, then I've committed the overwhelming exception fallacy. A more accurate position would be that the group of Christians who believe this may be in a minority, but tend to dominate the discussion. In conclusion, the overwhelming exception fallacy is when a generalisation is only accurate because a large number of counterexamples are excluded. Until next time, keep your fallacies to yourself.